Today on Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, we are once again going to be discussing the tropics, and so we're also going to be looking at model guidance for our two areas in the Atlantic we need to watch. And so to start off here, we're looking at the 7-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center. And so the area in red here is Invest 92L, and this area has a high chance to develop within the next 2 and 7 days. And both of those percentages are at 90%. So this could develop into something very soon. So even by the next update, maybe even later on this evening or tomorrow, this could be a named storm, which will be a tropical cyclone Gabrielle, and that'll be the next name in the list for this year. And so we also have this area just off the west coast of Africa in the yellow, and once this tropical wave gets farther westward into the Atlantic, it will have a chance to develop, and it currently has a 20% chance to develop within the next 7 days. So we'll continue to watch this area as well, but the main topic for this video will be Invest 92L. So like we did in the last forecast, we're going to be using some of the main 3 models, the GFS and the European operational model and the European AI model. So to start off here with the GFS weather model for today, so we'll go to tomorrow, we go into tomorrow morning, then we go into tomorrow afternoon, and as you can see, there is our low pressure, our potential tropical storm maybe tomorrow on the GFS, maybe a tropical depression potentially, but it is still pretty weak by this point as we get into tomorrow evening, and as we go further into the week, go into Thursday, and we get into Friday as well, still remains weak on the GFS, but then as it gets kind of into the late weekend, early next week, it starts to strengthen even further and gets into a tropical storm and eventually into a low-end hurricane potentially, and then it wants to get it pretty close to Bermuda by sometime early next week. So that's probably the main area we'll have to watch for with this storm, but I don't think as of right now this could drastically move westward. I do think it could, once again, still potentially impact Bermuda, but I do think it will eventually curve on out to sea. But that is the latest GFS model we have there. We go and then if we go to the European model from this morning, we get into tomorrow on Wednesday, and then we get into about midday. Still has it about the same strength as the GFS does. We go into Thursday, and then into Friday, strengthens it just a little bit, still moves westward, and I don't know if you can see, but Bermuda is right there. And so we get further into Saturday. Sunday has it quite a bit quicker because I think it strengthens quicker, and that allows for it to move northward quicker because of its strength. But it does not really get too close to Bermuda, but it has it around this point by sometime next Monday on the 22nd, and then it gets on out to sea. Finally, looking at the European AI model, the morning run from today, that's the latest run we have. We get into tomorrow evening on Wednesday, get into Thursday, get into Friday, has it as a weak low pressure. We get into Saturday, Sunday, still pretty weak. Only gets it to about a tropical storm by Monday, maybe Tuesday, and once again also curves it on out to sea. So that's the latest we have for some of the main models we have been using. Now, taking a look at the GEFS ensembles, and each one of these lines represent a different member all within the GEFS ensembles, and so the majority of the members have it curving on out to sea. But the main question we have here is, will this storm be able to strengthen quick enough for it to avoid Bermuda altogether, or will it stay a little bit weaker and then have the chance at impacting Bermuda later on? But I would not worry too much at this time because we still have a lot to figure out with this system, but I do have high certainty that this storm will curve on out to sea. Now, taking a look at some of the hurricane models here, and so you can see Bermuda right here around my cursor, and pretty much all of the hurricane models have it heading in that general direction, kind of northwest, and then obviously around 4 or 5 of them have it making that curve on out to sea. The other ones would probably show a curve eventually, but there's still a few of them that only go to about 144 hours out. The other ones go to 168 hours out. That's why you see that curve there. So still, I think we'll have to continue to watch this and see if it may potentially impact Bermuda, but I would not worry about it too much right now because there's still a lot of time for us to figure things out. And lastly, taking a look at the models once again for our other area just off the west coast of Africa. So we'll speed this up along. And then as we get into Monday, potentially Tuesday, we could see this wave develop into something on the GFS weather model. And then it gets it into Wednesday, Thursday next week, into Friday, and then it doesn't really have a whole lot come out of this, but now we're over 250 hours out, and that's well into the forecast range, so it's just pretty unpredictable at this point. So if we go to the European model as well, we go into this upcoming Monday, going to Tuesday. There's our moisture kind of in the center of your screen, and it does not like it really getting developed anytime soon, at least early next week at all. Then as we get into not this weekend, but next weekend, it never gets it developed into anything, and that is the latest European 12Z European run. We go to the European AI model as well to take a quick look at that. We get into, let me back this up a little bit. There's our wave. We go into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday has a low pressure develop around Monday, and then it just has this moisture hanging around. Getting into Thursday, Friday next week, not this weekend, but next weekend, and it once again does not develop into anything either. So the only thing we can really do right now is continue to monitor that area as well, and we have plenty of time to continue to watch that and figure things out. So that'll be it for today's update. I appreciate all of y'all watching, and I hope y'all have a great week.